Hey everybody, and welcome to another NintendoFuse Game Chat. I'm your host Barry, and today I'm joined by Steve
Hey, everybody.
and Greg,
Hello.
and we are going to be talking about Dodo Peak on the Nintendo Switch. Now, for those of you that maybe you just never heard of this game came out last year on iPhones and Apple Arcade specifically, and is coming out this Friday as of recording July 31st on the Nintendo Switch. It's developed by Moving Pieces Interactive, which we have a wonderful industry talk with them that will be live probably next week, so do check that out. It's published by Screenwave Media. It is a arcade-style classic platformer, and we were provided code, so thank you very much. So let's get into it. Steve, why don't you start? What's your first take on this game?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I wasn't sure what to expect at all. I totally went in blind with this game, which I enjoy doing every once in a while when we get codes like this. Just to go in blind and just experience it all at the same time. And so, yeah, it was. It's fun. It's challenging. I think it's great for those pick up and play kind of sessions. You can play like 2 or 3 levels, or you can play 20 or 30 if you want to. Yeah, the only nitpicks that I really have, and I say nitpicks because they're really small issues, is I think they could have set up the menu system a little different. Being able to having to go back to the main screen to go to the leaderboards and things like that. It just kind of seems a little like it's not totally user friendly, but the game itself is really fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. It definitely has that let me just play one more time kind of feel to it. Like I can get a faster time. I can do it better this time. And especially with the online leaderboards, as soon as I saw that that you guys had scores up there already, I was like, okay, I got to beat Barry and Greg first. And then at that point I was like, I beat them, but there's that overall leaderboard. I got to get on that too. And so, yeah, that was my next goal. And so it definitely had me coming back for more. And there's definitely a lot of challenge there too. The first few levels are fairly simple, but the challenge ramps up. And yeah, I've enjoyed it so far.
I would echo a lot of those same thoughts. I mean, most of the things that I was thinking were just mostly like nitpick items like Steve. It's great. One of my favorite things is like once you die, like you just immediately respawn. So it's like, okay, retry again, like right away. It's like none of this like, oh, gotta go all the way back to the home screen, like reselect the level and all these like different loading times. It's like, no, boom, like you're able to boom, hit the button and hit retry and you're already going back down at it again. And the level is like already completely refreshed. So that was like one of the smaller things that I really liked a lot with it. And like Steve, there's just those like nitpick items where the UI could be a little bit better, because even when I was like playing through the levels and getting 3 stars, like I would hit next level, but then I wouldn't even know the goals until I like died.
Yep.
So then I either had to die to know the goals or like complete the level and then like have to go back and reopen it and be like, oh, I wish I could have known I was supposed to get under 25 seconds, get the ruby or whatever, or destroy all the enemies, whatever the case may be. So that would have been nicer on the faster menu on to play the next level. And also, like when you get to like level 7 or something like that, or maybe it's just a star base, but it unlocks the next world, and then it wants you to jump to the next world instead of just like finishing out your current world. So that
Right.
could have been a little bit better too in that nature. I mean, it is cool to unlock new worlds, but I think most people like to play chronologically and just like, oh, I'm on 7, let's go to 8, 9, and 10, and then let's go to World 2, even if you did unlock it or were struggling or whatnot. So that was another smaller nitpick item. But overall, the gameplay is fantastic. I absolutely loved going down, traversing down the mountain and saving all the little birdie eggs all the time and dodging all the numerous things that there are around, like falling rocks and monkeys and snakes and all sorts of different things that can chase you around. So
I was gonna say I agree with you on the challenge thing about finding what the 3 stars are. That I totally agree with. And the user interface on the menu, I think, could absolutely be touched up. I mean, you see the leaderboards down there. If you don't know to push down, you're like, how do I get there? Left and right.
Yeah.
Do I push start? Like nothing's showing me. How do I go down there? So I would appreciate a little bit of clarity. It works, but once you know how it works,
Right.
But again, those are nitpicks. I echo everything you said. It's perfect for that pick up and play. It's that classic arcade feel for just so for those that haven't really experienced this, the object is you take your dodo and you have to traverse downwards of a mountain to pick up the eggs, which are scattered, and get back up safely. And you are dodging a lot of obstacles, and they get increasingly more difficult. Certain things like the snakes would just go back and forth, but the monkeys will start to hunt you down. And the worst for me is the crabs, which only move when you move, but they move in opposite directions, and they get really, really frustrating sometimes. There's some power ups though. You aren't defenseless. Like they could have just made this game where it's simply you have to get the birds and back, but they did add some power ups. There's like the watermelon, which makes you faster, and there's like a berry that grows you so that you can like beat up apes and stuff. I like that. I like that they added in some utility that you could or you didn't have to use, but I like that. It gave you more of an option. There was no one static way to beat any level.
Mm-hmm.
And the falling the rocks are interesting. They do actually show you where they go in the ground, which I did appreciate. The spikes weren't too bad. There's like platforms that fall into the water. There's lava that comes up underneath you. There's a lot of interesting obstacles. And I do appreciate that there's that challenge. There's that, oh, come on, I could do it. One more time. Or none of us really have talked about the weekly challenge, which is neat because the weekly challenge gives you a much harder level than maybe where you are, and tasks you with completing it and rewards you with money and costumes or actual different birds. You can change up your bird. There's a ton of different cosmetic costumes, but they're not just cosmetic. They actually have different speeds. So some stages you may want a very fast bird, and other stages you may want a slower bird because, whoa, I need to stop and think about this. I like that. What do you guys think about all these additions that they added into the game for extra stuff?
I didn't realize in the very beginning that they had different speeds with them. I thought it was just a bunch of different cosmetic differences. I was like, well, I'm not going to use that, whatever. But then after I, completed the first set of levels and and then all of a sudden I looked at the scores and then like the time was actually what got me. And I was like, how in the world did they get that done faster? They used a faster bird. Okay, let me go unlock that and everything. So now I have goals that I've set for myself. I was like, I got to get that golden bird as soon as I can. So get 500 coin or 5,000 coins to get that golden bird. So yeah, I think that was cool to just add to it. I think those things like that only add to the replay value, I think, of the game, which has been pretty cool.
Yep, that's definitely agree with that because then you are more motivated to re-challenge the leaderboards and like, oh, I can get a better rank and beat my friend or whatever at this. So then that's also really cool to be able to do. But yeah, that challenging level was certainly very difficult. I spent a good 25-30 minutes on it because it was, as you said, very challenging with those crabs that just mirror your movements. And I eventually found the best route was to go all the way to the bottom first and get the egg at the very, very bottom and then work my way back collecting them because it made it difficult trying to have all the extra birds following you and like the crabs could easily attack one of the other ones. So that's another challenging aspect of it with even the normal levels. Like the enemies can still attack the baby birds that follow you, so you have to rethink some things differently to approach it a different way that you might not have thought originally. So
yeah, I think the interesting thing too is that it's an out and back kind of game. And I don't know how many times I've actually played a game like that because usually it's to get from point A to point B. But for this game, it's point A to kind of point B, C, and D along the way, and then back to point A again. And that adds to the challenge because like for the initial, like the weekly challenge level, like it was fairly easy to get down to the bottom. But getting back with that chain of birds, little baby birds behind you the whole time, trying to make sure they don't get hit as well or fall down a shaft or whatever, like that was really challenging. And I also found, like, I think, like at times the isometric kind of view threw me off because I wasn't sure exactly which spot I was in. I know they have little dots to help you with that, but I think I'm going to try, there's an accessibility option to turn it just a top down view. And I'm going to try that out at some point, just to see if it makes it a little bit easier. Cause I don't know, it just, at sometimes I wasn't sure which which lane the boulder was coming down or which lane the crab was in, and was like, am I going to hit it or not? I'm not quite sure. It would have been nice to be able to like use the right stick to turn the camera around, for instance, and see it from a different angle.
I didn't even realize that was there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment. Especially it was most notable at the challenge level with the flaming rocks and the normal rocks all coming down at once. It's like, well, which one's going like more this way and which one's going like more down? It's got very confusing, and I definitely lost a number of times just because I thought I was safe, but actually wasn't. And so, like, I know the initial spot showed the shadow, but I didn't even really see any dots on which way, like which lane it was going in. So I knew it was going to hit, but I didn't know.
Yeah, just the initial one shows you the X.
Yeah.
But
See,
yeah,
now I got to check to see which of us beat it faster, because I didn't check.
Oh, and the weekly challenge?
On the weekly challenge, yeah.
I'm guessing it probably wasn't me, but I don't know. I took minutes because I just waited at the bottom, just waiting at the right time.
I tried to do, like, at first I went down, collecting all the birds, coming back up, getting hit, and then I tried to do what Greg said, like, oh, let me go down and get the bottom egg first and move back. And that didn't work for me either. So I actually beat it, getting all the birds going down and then bringing them all back. So there's multiple ways to do every level, which I really like. It's like I said, there's not just one, this is the way to do it. I hate games where it's like, if you don't do this set pattern, you are going to fail every time. Where it's more open-ended, where it's, you know, even if it takes you a little longer, you can still accomplish. And then you can build that faster time by learning, all right, this will be a little bit faster if I go this way. And that's really where the leaderboards and the stars come into play. Now, you know, I don't know, how far did you get, Steve?
I think I'm on level 12 or 13 or something like that. Yeah, so not too far. I beat the first world, and then played a couple from the second world, and then spent the rest of my time on the weekly challenge. And like Greg, I think it took me about 20 or so minutes to finally get it beat.
What about you, Greg? How far?
I got through the first 20 levels and also the weekly challenge. The only level I did not 3-star was level 19, and that one was very difficult for me to see. And there's definitely, I feel like there's a randomness factor to it, because I could, no matter how fast I got to the strawberry to try to spawn, there'd be sometimes the monkey would already be like before the thing spawned. So like, there's not even like a set like pattern every time you load the level too. So that's kind of neat in the way it works.
Well, that's because the monkeys also go towards you. So like, if you rush right to the strawberry, they're going to start going towards you. But if you maybe take a second or two to kind of get them away from it and then rush over there.
Yeah, that makes it very difficult, because you think you're getting around there at the same time, but you don't reach it at a certain time, and even the strawberry spawns at a precise time. So, like, there's been times where I thought I would die, but I actually got the strawberry and killed the monkey that was on like the same space. So
nice.
There was definitely some really cool time challenges with that, like trying to beat the clock and beat the level as fast as I could. I couldn't even get a second star in that one, because that one was way too hard. You only get 2 strawberries to destroy like 25 monkeys or something like
There's
that.
a lot in that level.
And they're all like moving around, and it's kind of difficult to see which ones you're hitting, because they kind of go flying, and then you like don't know if you hit them or not. And then the power up only lasts for like 2 seconds, so it's like you gotta like run in there, kill a bunch of them, and kind of like back out and go around to the other strawberry. But
I died so many times, just be like, I'm killing them, the power up ran out, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't realize it, and it killed me. So yeah, you guys are a little bit where I'm in the third world, but I couldn't beat 20. 20 was giving me problems, so that's why I like having the world unlock at the 7, because if you can't beat, like I was having problems with 20 and I haven't beat it. So now I'm stuck at 20. Oh, great. This one level's holding me back. There's 60 levels in this game. So that's 40 levels now I can't access because I can't beat one. But because of their system, it allows me to go on. So I was able to play, I think, like 4 or 5 into World 3. And I like that. I hate anytime you're playing a game or a story game or you know, progress, and it's stopped by one particular level, and that's it. It kills the momentum. And when to kill the momentum, it's really hard to get it back. So by being able to skip it, I think that's really awesome. Not only did I do the weekly challenge that you guys did, but I actually did last week's challenge as well, which was significantly easier than this crab. In fact, I was like, oh, the weekly challenge is back. Let me go back into it. And I was very surprised at the difficulty this time versus last time. So there's incentives to do these things. Like I said, there's the costumes. You do like one weekly challenge, you unlock the penguin. But I think it's like 5, you get another bird, and the beating certain levels, like I think beating level 2 or world 2, you get a bird. And I like that. I like that there's that progress system. Now, I do know they are adding stuff to the game, but not levels. They're adding quality of life stuff, maybe new costumes, new stuff like that, but not new levels. I'm glad they're supporting this game. This is their first game, so this is a brand new studio. I like to see that type of creativity because I love the old school arcades, and when we were talking, we talked about this. Like Qbert is the biggest reference here. I mentioned Crystal Caves or Crystal Castles. Other people Congo Bongo. It's very reminiscent of those type of old school arcadey games. So now where we're sitting, Steve's in World 2, Greg has finished World 2, he's going to World 3. Would you guys, past this game chat, are you guys going to try to hit, and beat all 60 levels?
I think I probably will, but I'm not going to grind it. I think this is definitely one of those games that I'll play here and there. Maybe when I'm traveling or when I've got a little bit of time here and there that I'll just like, okay, let's see if I can get past another 3, 4, 5 levels or whatever. And sometimes I wouldn't doubt it if I started out like that and then caught myself like an hour or two later, like, well, I was gonna play 5 levels, but here I am like 15 later, because I think it has that ability to kind of grab you and pull you in for more and more challenge. But yeah, it's not something that I'm going to set necessarily like a goal to like beat it all by the next week or something. But I do see myself going back to it in little chunks here and there.
I definitely agree. I would definitely see myself be going back in a little bit more. I might not be as strict to like play it in a timely manner, but I definitely see myself trying to go back and get some more of the levels. I'm not usually huge into like leaderboard challenges, despite that being an awesome feature, but I might be more motivated like if like the three of us like start having like a friendlier competition or something like oh who beat the weekly challenge the best, or who beat whatever level 20 or whatever the best or something. But yeah,
that's the weekly challenge. You're gonna go back and do that?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll log in for every weekly challenge, but I'm certainly going to give a few more a shot because I do know you get a bird for doing like 4 or 5 weekly challenges. I saw. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. So this game, again, it comes out this Friday the 31st. If you pre-order it, it's $9. Normally it's $10, which isn't terribly expensive. Steve, at $10, let's say they're not pre-ordering it, $10 full price. Would you recommend this game to somebody?
I think so. I normally a game this simple, I would hesitate at $10, but I feel that there's enough, and if they continue adding more and more stuff to it, it's not like you're not just buying the existing thing, you're buying what they've promised to continue making the game better and better. It's not like they've just hands off and whatever. So I think that's great. I think it is supporting a young developer, a new developer that's out there. So I think yeah, I definitely would recommend it. And honestly, like I know it's also an Apple Arcade. Unless you have a controller for Apple devices or whatever, I'd rather play it on my Switch because I think I would get annoyed by playing it on a touchscreen or something like that. But yeah, I want my analog sticks and things like that to control the bird around.
I've already found myself like, I just moved one space too far using the analog stick and the D-pad. I do actually play this more with the D-pad, but I can't imagine touch. Not at all. Greg, what about you? $10. Would you recommend this game?
Absolutely. I think the challenge is there. If it would be something different if they took like the first 2 worlds to really start like making them like stronger, but the fact that they start challenging you like whatever like world like level 3 in the first world, like they've already kind of like upped the difficulty and the ante quite early, so then you're already knowing it's going to get more fun and more frantic throughout. So I would definitely say it's definitely worth it. You're not going to have any like issues with it being like way too easy for too much of the game before it gets challenging. So they really did a good job balancing the difficulty and really making you feel like, I really need to try this again. Give me one more shot, because it's like that arcade feel. So I would absolutely recommend it for people that really like platforming games or whatever, like the kind of dodge and fetch and return quest games.
I'm going to echo that as well. Even though I'm not a big digital guy, I think at $10, there's a lot there. It's just that great pick up and play. I got 5 minutes or I've got 50 minutes. It doesn't matter. There's that competition, especially if your friends have it, to compete in the leaderboards. There's the stars. Hey, even if you beat all 60, because I didn't 3-star all of them. I was the first run. I usually just try to go through, and then I go back, and because usually by that point, after I beat like World 60, I'm so used to the craziness that I have to go back to World 1 to 3-star stage. It's like, oh, this is cake. You're just so used to the more difficult stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of content there for $10. And if that's too much and this goes on sale, absolutely, for sure. This took me by surprise. I went in blind. I didn't really know what to expect, and I grew up with the Atari. I grew up with Qbert. So to play this again was like a blast from the past. It was really that, wow, like I haven't played a good arcade style. I'm used to these 100-hour epic RPGs. So just to play this. So this might become one of my palate cleanse games where it's like, all right, let me just play this for 10 minutes in between games, just as a relaxation thing.
The connection to Qbert is definitely there, and also Snake.
Yes,
you guys are like
Snake
big Snake
Rattle
fans, so it's kind of or any of the versions of Snake, So it's like like Qbert and Snake put together, because that's the other thing that adds to that challenge is those baby birds behind you that you also got to look out for the whole time, not just yourself. So you learn a little bit about taking care of your young while you're playing this game too.
That's what got me too, when I would overstep and be like, oh crap, I went one too far, and I'd back up. The baby birds follow you, so now the baby birds are one step ahead, and they'd get killed, and I'm like, oh man, I can't just rush through this. I have to be a little slower around here. So I like that. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to it, even if it is a simple game. And simple game doesn't mean bad, and it's great that they crammed as much as they did into this game to really make it worth, in my opinion, and in your guys' opinion, worth the $10. So if you guys, again, are interested in this, we definitely recommend you check it out on the eShop Friday, the 31st of July. It is going live. Pick this up. And thank you so much for tuning into this game chat and watching. Steve, Greg, thank you so much for joining me today.
No problem. And thanks to the developers, publishers, and everything for giving us those codes too. Appreciate it.
Greatly appreciated. Thanks for having me on.
And if you enjoy videos like this, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell for more great game chats on our NintendoFuse YouTube. We also have our bi-weekly podcasts, so please check that out. We do those live. We also have industry talks where I sit down with different people of the industry, including one with the developers of this game, so I definitely recommend that. And until next time, guys, have a great day and take care.
See ya.
Take care.